comenzamos.
Radio Metroplex.
Presentando
Radio Metroplex.
la mejor programación. En vivo desde Arlington, Texas, la capital del deporte, los espectáculos y el entretenimiento.
Radio Metroplex.
La mejor plataforma en su tipo. El mejor contenido
Radio Metroplex.
y diversión para todos.
Radio Metroplex. Radio Metroplex.
Ya está. It should keep coming. ¿Por qué no está? Go into discussions or post. There. Up, down, down, down. Ahí está. Ya.
We are friends in Facebook, ¿verdad? Sí.
We should. Angélica.
Ya vamos a ver.
Sí.
So how can I share like this?
Ah,
Share?
Yes,
Because
sure.
I'm with Facebook.
Sí,
Todo el
ya,
día.
todo.
Okay.
So, hello, everybody. I'm Dr. B here on Facturando Tu Historia on Radio Metroplex, which we are in Arlington, Texas, the capital of sports, entertainment, and events. So we are so happy to be here today. And with me, I have two amazing guests, and I'm so excited because one of them is a singer, and it's Alejandro. And we have Mayra, who is an author, and she empowers women to connect and tap into their greatness. So I think we all empower people, him with music and inspiration and helping people tap and connect to their, to their stories. And that's what we do here in Power Talk and Facturando Tu Historia. We tell stories because the goal is to inspire, to motivate, and help people tap into courage and confidence no matter what you're experiencing in life. And he does it through music. She does it through being an author and inspiring women. And I do it through this show. And most importantly, you'll find out what we have in kind of hashing in there. And it's an event we're having tomorrow, but I'll tell you more as our show continues. We're here every Friday at 5 p.m. Central. So stay tuned and keep connecting with us. I'm going to start this way and then we'll come back. So Alejandro, gracias.
Por nada, un placer.
Yeah, for saying yes. And we're going to speak Spanglish. So for those of you that are watching, you know that we do that. We go from Spanish to English, and it's all good because that's the power of speaking multiple languages, right?
Yes.
So you can speak any language you want. And,
Okay.
And tell us where you're from and what you do.
Well, I was born in Cuba. I'm from a small city called Santa Clara.
Mm.
And from there, I lived until I was a month before turning 18. I moved to the United States.
Wow.
So I turned 18 when I was already living in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I lived almost 18 years in Cuba.
Wow.
In the same town. Never moved out.
Never moved.
Yes.
Wow,
I
that's
love it.
amazing. Amazing. Have you gone back to visit?
I've been maybe like 5 times, I think. 5-6 times in the last 10 years, 10, 11 years.
Okay.
So I still have my dad, my brother, my grandma from that side, my uncles. I still have some friends, over there that I grew up with,
Mm-hmm.
that they're like family to me, And yeah, I try to, help my family as much as I can. But since 2019, I haven't been back because of everything that's been going on.
Yeah.
Me moving also from Miami and the whole thing. So I haven't seen them in a while. I have a baby sister that was born
Mm-hmm.
8 months ago, so I haven't met her. Yeah, she's a baby.
Oh my
Mm.
goodness.
Yes. So
Uh-huh.
soon I should be able to
You'll
go
be
back.
see her, yeah. And then you said that you also lived in Houston.
I lived in Houston for I think it was 8 months,
Okay.
something like that. 7, 8 months.
Oh wow.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
that was an experience. I hadn't seen this part of Texas. I saw Houston and I liked it. And I decided, you know what, let me go. I moved to Houston
Mm-hmm.
and I've seen Austin as well, but Austin seemed really like smaller, and I like Houston better. And I lived there, and then when I saw this place, well, it was
You fell in love.
yeah. I like it here better, so
Yeah.
I decided, you know what, nah, it should be more.
Uh-huh. Wonderful. Well, welcome to the Dallas area. It's awesome to have you here. And then tell us your full name, what you do, where you're from, because we have 2 Cubans in the house. Yay.
Thank you for the opportunity. I feel honored, privileged. Your invitation has been like, wow, I've been thinking about it all day. My name is Mayra Reynolds. I am Cuban. I immigrated to the United States in 1971. Back then, there was an airport that it was called the Freedom Flights,
Mm-hmm.
Los Vuelos de la Libertad. So yes, I immigrated with my parents. We settled in New York City, Long Island, and I lived there for about 18 years. That's where I went to high school. That's where I went to college. I went to a school named the Berkeley Claremont School, which is a fashion and a merchandising school, and that's what I did. I was really into fashion, and it was one of my passions. But then one time I went to Miami, and I love the weather. I love the warmth of the people, and I said, "Well, I think it's time for us to make a change." And we went back to New York City. We sold our house, and we settled in Miami. In Miami, I continued my career in the fashion world in retail management. But then in 2006, I came here to Dallas just for a weekend with one of my daughters, and she goes, "Mom, let's look at houses." And I said, "What do you mean look at houses? You know, I have a good job. I've been working with the company for so many years." She goes, "Yeah, let's look at house and just for fun." I started looking at houses, and I went and looked at maybe 5 houses, Little Elm, Frisco, McKinney, but I went to this neighborhood in Allen, and I absolutely loved it. And we decided to buy a house in Allen, and then I was like, what am I doing? I lived in Florida, in Miami. What am I doing here? But my daughter decided to stay here in Dallas, and I went back. And then within a couple of months, I decided to come back to Dallas, and it's been great. I love it over here. It's a big difference between New York City, even though we live in Long Island, Miami, and Dallas. But Dallas is my home now.
It's your home. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. You know, I was born in Mexico,
Mhm.
raised in Chicago, and then I think when I was 14, I moved into this area, but I cannot do Chicago. I love Chicago people. I love you because I still have brothers and sisters, and so I love you. I know some of you are watching, and I love you, and I love the city, but I love the warmth, the heat, you know. And I don't think, like you said, I can't do the
Yeah.
cold weather. Sorry.
It was difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Even to me, it feels colder, than I ever experienced in my life, because Cuba is like Miami.
Yeah.
It's eternal summer.
Mm.
It's never winter.
It's
And
never
so,
winter.
yeah, never had winter clothes before.
Oh wow!
Until I moved over here.
Until you moved over here, yeah. So what I like to do is really tell stories, and the reason I tell stories is because people, especially nowadays, they tend to, after COVID, a lot of people went into depression and they feel stuck and they feel like, what do I do? How do I get out of this? And we all go through problems. You know, a lot of times people see successful people as success, but they don't see the in between or the things that we went through to get to where we are. So I like to tell stories. I like to tell people, a struggle that we went through, and then how did that struggle lead you to where you are today? So who wants to start sharing a story?
I could start.
Okay.
I wrote a book, Mujer Tú Puedes. First, I wrote it in Spanish, and recently I wrote it in English. My husband is American, and he told me, listen, you have to share the testimony in English. So first in Spanish and then in English. And what led me to write my book, I was diagnosed with cancer. And I wasn't really sad when I was diagnosed with the cancer. It was like a challenge. Fue como un reto para mí. Porque antes de mi cáncer ser detectado, ya yo sabía que iba a tener una enfermedad. Yo soy cristiana y tengo una relación bien estrecha, bien cerca con Dios. Y en la iglesia donde yo me congrego, me habían dicho que acudiera a la ciencia, que yo tenía una enfermedad que no había sido diagnosticada, pero que no me preocupara, que era algo necesario, era una experiencia que yo iba a tener que pasar por esa experiencia, porque a través de esa experiencia yo iba a compartir mi testimonio, y a través de mi testimonio muchas personas iban a cambiar su mentalidad sobre enfermedades. La mía fue el cáncer. Y esa misma noche yo le pregunté a Dios, cuando me fui a mi casa, un poco triste, pero tengo que acudir a la ciencia. Entonces, ¿ahora qué sucede? Me voy a tener que hacer un examen de pies a cabeza. Verdaderamente no me gusta ir al doctor. Y yo le empecé a orar al Señor y le dije, Señor, ya sufrí con el fallecimiento de mi mamá y mi papá. Mi mamá y mi papá fueron diagnosticados con cáncer el mismo día, a la misma hora, en Miami. Uno fue en el hospital Jackson y otro fue en el hospital Palmetto. Entonces ya el cáncer para mí no era, oh wow, como que ya yo estaba entrenada, ya yo sabía más o menos. Y esa noche cuando me fui a mi casa, yo dije, Señor, lo que sea, whatever comes my way, I'm going to face it like a warrior. I'm not going to be scared, but I'm going to ask of two things. I'm going to pray for two things. I don't want chemo, and I don't want radiation. I didn't know that I had cancer yet, but this was my conversation with the Lord. No chemo and no radiation, because I remember when my mother and my father went through, and it was horrible.
If you're not sick because of cancer, like the chemo and the radiation make you sick. And I know that because I went through it. So.
Y cuando como este programa es Spanglish.
Yeah, you speak Spanglish. So
sí.
I love it.
Sí. Cuando le reclamé a Dios, enseguida me empezó un dolor. Me empezó un dolor en mi lado derecho, y al otro día llamé a mi doctora y le dije, doctora, tengo un dolor en mi lado derecho. Ven para hacerte el examen anual de mamografía. Está bien. Fui. Y como a las 2 semanas yo veía que me llamaban de la oficina de la doctora, y yo no quería coger el teléfono, y yo no quería. Y un día saliendo de estudio bíblico digo, voy a ser valiente y voy a tomar esa llamada. Y me habían dejado un mensaje. Los resultados no eran positivos, que iba a tener que regresar y hacerme otros exámenes. Y yo fui y me hice otros exámenes, y entonces después del examen vamos a tener que hacerte una biopsia. No sé qué sucedió ese día, mis hijas no pudieron acompañarme, tengo 3 hijas, mi esposo no me pudo acompañar. Bueno, cuando eso, él era mi novio, hoy es mi esposo.
Ajá.
Y cuando la doctora me dijo, los resultados son positivos, you have cancer. Yo dije, oh, really? Ah, ok. Y me miró como que, pero esta mujer no está bien. La mayoría de las personas, y ella me lo dijo, la mayoría de las personas lloran, patalean, they cry, they have fits. Y yo estaba bien tranquilita. Y me dijo el tipo de cáncer que yo tenía, era del seno. Y me dijo, pero ¿sabes qué? Que lo hemos detectado en una etapa bien temprana. No vas a tener que tener, yo me pongo bien,
That's good.
me emociono.
That's good.
No vas a tener que tener ni radiación, ni quimioterapia. Me dio las opciones y ya yo sabía que ya yo estaba sana. Pero yo dije, you know what, my vanity, mi vanidad de mujer no va a poder más que la fe que yo tengo. Yo le dije a la doctora, ok, I'm going to have a conversation with my daughters, voy a tener una conversación con mis 3 hijas, con mi fiancé, con mi prometido, pero casi 90% estoy segura que lo que quiero es una full mastectomy. I went home, conversé con mis hijas y ellas me dijeron, Mom, whatever decision you make, we're going to back you up 100%. Mami, la decisión que tú tomas, te vamos a estar contigo 100%. Lo difícil era decirle a mi prometido, yo dije, wow, este señor es de otra cultura, es americano, yo soy latina, vamos a ver cómo él va a tomar. Estábamos de novio. Y fue algo bien, bien fuerte para mí. Y le dije, honey, I have cancer. I don't know if you want to continue the relationship. Y le dije, mi amor, tengo cáncer, no sé si quieres, si quieres seguir la relación o yo no me voy a enojar. La decisión que tú tomes va a estar bien conmigo.
Right.
Y él me dijo, honey, it's not your battle. It's a battle.
Wow. Wow. Le vamos a dar un aplauso a tu like, wow. You know, esto es algo muy importante para los que están escuchando esto, porque todos tenemos batallas en la vida y cuando los seres más queridos te aceptan, te apoyan y especialmente un hombre, ¿verdad? Porque todos, yo también tuve cáncer, perdí el pelo y tuve muchas operaciones, casi 7 años. Yo entiendo lo que es más difícil. Yo tenía un pretendiente que yo lo corté porque para mí yo decía, yo no lo quiero hacer sufrir, porque me dijeron que tenía yo 5 años, pero él se sentaba en quimo y allí siempre estaba conmigo, bien atento, y yo le dije, I can't do this to you. So yo sí no le di la oportunidad porque yo decía, yo me sentía en ese tiempo, dije, él necesita a alguien que vaya a estar full blown presente con él, ¿verdad? Entonces, I'm so glad he stuck to you. El otro, he would have, pero no le di la oportunidad yo. But anyways, es mi mejor amigo todavía. Vive en la eternidad y es mi mejor amigo. So, I just want to say, Brian, if you're listening, I love you and I bless you and your wife porque está casado ahora. So, I am delighted with both of them. Yeah. So, anyways, me gusta tu historia. Ahorita vamos a continuar contigo. So, ¿qué historia te gustaría empezar a contar?
Bueno, la única que tengo que es mi historia.
Qué lindo.
Y creo que es el valor que toda mi carrera ha empezado, ¿no? And so I've been trying to be, I've been a musician since as long as I can remember, right? Because I grew up with a neighbor of mine, like the next door neighbor was a drummer. He's way older than me. He's 11 years older than me. So by the time I was 3 years old, he was basically a teenage, and he was already good. And so he lived next door to my grandma's. I would spend a lot of time in my grandma's house. And those years, I just remember just being around him, around the music that he played, and I would go see him watch, when he would practice, right? He would practice, estaba tocando los drums, a ninguno del edificio le gustaba, pero yo era el único niño que iba ahí, todo el mundo quería ver la televisión, todo el mundo, el tipo estaba ahí dándole duro a la batería. Entonces, he lives in Miami and he recorded many of my songs now, which is a full cycle of life. Yes, amazing. I didn't see him for like 15 years, and then we met up in Miami and we started making music together again. See, that's how I started. So I've always wanted to be, an artist. I grew up in a normal family of Cuba, right? We, there was a lot of necessity, so I couldn't be a drummer. There was no way for me to get a drum set, and tú sabes cómo es Cuba. So it was not a possibility. So I spent all those years of me being a kid, trying to get into the school of music, because in Cuba you have to start really, really small, right? So I didn't. I started a little bit later. And so you have to do all these difficult tests that I didn't, I couldn't go into like the music school, right, for drumming. So, that didn't stop me. I knew I wanted to be a musician. So when I was around 10, my dad always had a guitar with him. So I don't have a musical family, but my dad always had a guitar in his room, and I've always seen it. Never caught my attention until one day, and I told him, "Hey, can you show me some song?" And he told me La Guantanamera, right?
Oh.
And I memorized it. I became obsessed, right, with this instrument, and I played that song. I remember it took me like 3-4 months until I played it perfectly. Like I could, change the chords and do the whole thing, and someone told me, "Oh, look, in this church they're teaching classes," and from there I started my hustle. I call it a hustle because I grew up with no internet, no cell phones, no access to information, in a really, really small town of Cuba. So for my luck, in my hometown, there's a lot of songwriters, a lot, trovadores, que es lo que yo soy, no? So La Trovuntivitis, which is una peña, which is gonna come now. It was a songwriters event that they do weekly, where all the songwriters, professional songwriters, published songwriters of my city, they get together and they do a big concert, 2-3 hours, and each one of them will play 3-4 songs. So I will never miss one of those. I will go to the jazz concerts. I will go to all the concerts, for me to find people who can teach me, be hanging around musicians. Then when I was 15, that's when I started writing. So I got into poetry a lot. I didn't sing back then. My singing was a little bit later. So I just started writing. And when I started writing, Cuba is a dictatorship. We all know that, right? And so there were, in that moment, you live with a lot of fear in Cuba. But in that time, it was 2009, 2010 when I was 15. Fidel Castro was already too old, right? And then these, growing up in the 90s, early 2000s, was hardcore darkness dictatorship, right? And as this guy got so old, so things started to shift. It's still a dictatorship, but things started to shift, and a lot more information was available due to technology. Correct. Right? So I would have now concerts of American bands. I like American bands. Like one of my favorite was Pantera, that is from here, right? Yeah. So I liked American, so I could get videos now, Stevie Ray Vaughan videos, or the jazz concerts, or guitar players and stuff. And from there, I would get some, right? So as more, as older as I got, more information was available to me when I was growing up in Cuba. And so it was a journey of me, and I discovered bands like, Pink Floyd, and some songwriters that would touch like social and things about freedom and consciousness and things like that in their lyrics, right? So it was kind of like, to me, I was 15, what life experience do I have about anything? I'm 15, you're a teenager, right? But we all know the situation of our country. So what I would write back then would not be like love songs, or because I never had a love. I never had like life experiences, but I could see the world, and that's when I kind of like started finding the value of writing and sending a message to people, right? Not just writing just to write something, or just to write a song for entertainment, but write a song so that the words or the lyrics have a meaning, or you saying something important, especially of moral value. which is what I think my society at least lacks a lot. And the reason we're in such tyranny is because moral values have been eroded in my nation. And so therefore people are very divided, and there's a lot of ignorance and a lot of misinformation. It's just it's a difficult thing, right? And once I moved to the United States, more information, I understood more about the world, and learning English also helped me out. Studying other writers, writers in English, right? So now I would have a different perspective or perception of the world, of history, from somebody that lives outside of Cuba or something that is not Latin, right? Different cultures. So English, so that started influenced my own lyrics that are, today. And when I decided to really take it seriously was around 2019. I had already graduated college and I needed to go into a career path. And, I've been doing music my whole life. And I already have written like a bunch of songs. And so I decided, that's when I decided to start my career, and the pandemic came and I moved to Houston. And in Houston, I bought some equipment to make a home studio. And that's where I recorded my album. And my album se llama Desde el Exilio. Ok, entonces todo el álbum es a conceptual album, right? So all the songs están organizadas y todo tiene un sentido lógico y todo es sobre mi experiencia como migrante. Y cómo lo que está pasando en Cuba lo estoy viendo yo realmente en muchos países del mundo, me preocupa un poco, ¿no? Incluso acá en Estados Unidos. Similar traits of tyranny that I have from my country, things, that always, the reason I like Texas very much is because of freedom. So I've always been a strong ideals of freedom oriented myself as an individual. So I was never like in big groups. I had my tight group of friends, and we were all artists and friends, and that I would never be like a popular guy, let's say, or somebody who knew a lot of people. I've always been more like, analyzing from the background, and and always, I never liked tyranny. I never liked what was going on in my country. Is the reason we moved over here. And then you finding stuff like that here and other places is kind of like what inspired me to, I have to record my music, and there's some value in this, right? I have, it has been a great journey so far. I told you I went to Argentina, and I've traveled a lot in this country just performing. And so I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah.
I have accomplished here things that I would have never accomplished in my country. And I'm very grateful for the United States and for the opportunity that I've had since I moved. And because of all that is the reason I keep doing my music, because that is the value of the story.
Right. And he's an amazing singer. I think I had the pleasure of meeting him maybe 2-3 months ago.
Yes.
Estefania is one of my guests here too. She's a dancer, and she just texted me and said, "You need to come right now." and listen to him and maybe get him on your show. And I think there is Frank. He's a poet, the writer. So she wanted me to meet you, and so here I go. I was gonna I had another event, so I ran over there, saw him, and I was amazed with his music. So and now he's here. So I love it. Thank you so much. Now I do have to say that these amazing people, he's going to be singing at our event tomorrow. We have a fashion show called Alive and Beautiful, Glamour Beyond Cancer, and where we are going to have women. Maida is going to be one of our models there who have survived cancer. We do have maybe, I think, 2 that the cancer is back, but they're still going to be modeling and showing up and still being courageous. So for those of you that are watching, we're inviting you to come and join us. We're going to have performance, dancers. We have DCD, which is Dallas Can Dance Academy. We have Estefania, who's going to be dancing. We have the Peru, Así es mi Peru is going to be dancing. And I have another one. I will let you know in a minute. I'm sorry. I just have too many. And then we have Maria de Jose, who's going to be singing. And we have a DJ that's going to be showing up, him and his wife. We have a lot happening tomorrow, so you cannot miss it. And not only that, you're going to connect with amazing people, have an amazing time, dance, and most importantly, you're going to support women who are battling cancer, because it is like a fundraiser that we're doing to raise money to help women that are struggling, paying for their rent, paying for their bills. I was inspired with one of my friends that recently was struggling, and they were asking her to move out. She was in the hospital, couldn't pay her rent, and they were like, you need to move out and vacate the apartment. Unfortunately, we did lose her, so my heart goes out to her, and I am going to dedicate a little bit of our moment to her tomorrow. But anyways, we want you to sing a song right now.
Oh, nice.
And then we're going to go into what we're going to recommend people to do. So, yes, sing us a song, and you have to stay tuned. We have Diamantina watching, and then I know I saw Josephine and some of you who are connecting with us. Thank you. Like, share, and tell people to come and watch the show. We're here every Friday at 5 p.m. Central. It's yours.
So this song is called Me he vuelto loco.
Okay.
No, es una canción un poco más a lo personal, no así tanto de cosas sociales, pero es una de las canciones que tengo grabada y me gusta mucho porque nada, se presta mucho para la guitarra acústica.
I love
Así que
it.
nada.
Okay.
Soledad me persigue, eso será que no has conocido a nadie como yo. Es verdad, el amor que siento no es posible de explicar. Quizás me he vuelto loco, pero igual el mundo a su lado se vuelve mejor. El tiempo no hace daño. El mundo a su lado se vuelve mejor. El tiempo no hace daño. Soledad, dime por qué has elegido empeñarte en mí. Sabes que la necesito, pero igual, quizás tú sabes más de esto que yo. O quizás me he vuelto loco por su amor. Por eso, amor, quizás me he vuelto loco por su amor. Por eso, amor, quizás me he vuelto loco por su amor. Mi mundo es su querer, mi anhelado sueño, libertad. Para los dos poder navegar sin miedo a naufragar. Mi mundo es su querer, mi anhelado sueño, libertad. Para los dos poder navegar sin miedo a naufragar. A naufragar. Oh, quizás me he vuelto loco por su amor. 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 Quizás me he vuelto loco por su amor.
Wow. Woo!
Thank you.
Yay! Ahora, amigos, you cannot miss this. He's going to be tomorrow at our fashion show. And if this is amazing, he's going to inspire us and he's going to help us move and dance at the same time.
Maybe
So,
some salsa, some
a
bachata.
little bit of salsa and bachata. So, you have to come and join us because it's going to be amazing. Amazing. So, I just kind of want to tell our audience, like, what do you tell them and how can we motivate them to keep going no matter what is happening in their life? Because we do live in dark moments at times, like we did. And I mean, I lived them for 7 long years. Yet I kept telling myself, if I survive and I live, I'm going to do something bigger than myself. And I think I'm doing it. I dare to be me in so many ways that when I see obstacles, it's like, okay, what do I need to let go? What do I need to release? What belief, what perspective do I need to change that's getting in my way? And who can support me or help me or push me instead of me feeling stuck? Now, do I cry? Yes, I cry. Do I get angry? Yes, I get angry. Do I give myself a moment to be frustrated and anxious? Of course I do. Yet, I keep going. So what would you like to tell our people so we can inspire them to keep going no matter what?
Personally, a positive mindset. When I wake up in the morning, I'm the one that decides what type of day I'm going to have.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I thank the Lord for another day. And I'm the one who decides. I'm my own CEO. I'm not going to let circumstances, I'm not going to let the weather determine how my day is going to be. If I wake up, I'm already in a good mood. I'm already smiling. And then my Cuban coffee, of course. I
love
make my
coffee.
Cuban coffee every morning before I leave my house. And let me tell you, when I leave my house, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to conquer the world. And when I get to work, the minute that I walk in there, I'm smiling from here to here. And I tell my coworkers, I tell my bosses, you know what? We are here as a family. It doesn't matter what happened out there.
Yeah.
What matters is here. We have to be positive, and with a positive attitude, you bring positive results. It doesn't matter what you go into your life. Like with my cancer, a lot of people might think, "Oh my God, this woman, maybe she's a little bit cuckoo." Because to me, it has been a beautiful experience. Writing my book, sharing my book, inspiring people. I have met a lot of women that have been diagnosed with cancer or they had it. And you know what? No matter what, that's why the name of the book is Mujer Tu Puedes, Women Yes You Can.
Do you have a copy so you can show
Yes,
it? Or, yeah?
because
Show it so people can
it
see. And you
doesn't-
go get it. Is it on Amazon?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
But
You
it
need
will
to go
be
get this
within
book.
a week. Within
Okay.
a week, it will be on Amazon.
Let me show it.
When people tell me, you can't do this, you can't do that, to me, it's a challenge.
Right.
You tell me that I can't do this,
Sorry.
and you know what? I tell you, watch me. Yes, I can. It tries me, empowers me. When I'm told, when I'm limited, when I'm restricted, I'm like, no one is going to restrict me because I am my own CEO. You cannot let circumstances, you cannot let obstacle, you cannot let illnesses, situation, what's happening right now around us in the world. Of course, I'm human. Yes, I feel sorry, I empathize, but life goes on and we have to make the best of the best. My book, it tells about when I was a little girl in Cuba, the first time that I would say maybe destiny or the universe told me, tú no puedes, era cuando yo tenía 5 años que yo le pregunté a mis padres por mis abuelos. Mi mamá me dijo, no, fallecieron. Yo no entendía lo que quería decir la palabra fallecieron, pero yo era lo inteligente suficiente para decir, ok, los tuyos, mi abuela de parte de madre falleció. ¿Y qué pasó con la la mamá de mi papá, falleció. Ahí sí me sentí tan triste, tan triste, tan triste. Yo no voy a tener abuelo. ¿O no? Eso no va a ser así. Yo me hice amiguita de todos los viejitos de mi vecindario. Y yo tengo 3 pasiones muy grandes y una de ellas es el amor incondicional que yo tengo por las personas de la tercera edad. ¿Por qué? Porque no tuve abuelo. Pero yo no dejé que el destino me dijera a mí, ¿sabes qué? Tú vas a ser una niña bien amargada porque tú no vas a tener abuelo. No, yo sí tuve muchos abuelos. También mi niñez fue bien escasa, bien escasa. Éramos bien pobres. Y yo usaba, de lunes a viernes, yo usaba mi uniforme de la escuela porque como estábamos en un país comunista, teníamos que ponernos. ¿Tú te recuerdas de eso? La pañoleta.
I remember
El pañuelo
very well. Very well, I
y
remember.
azul.
Ajá.
Y esa era mi ropa del lunes a viernes. Pero para el sábado y el domingo yo tenía una batica, one dress, unas boticas blancas, medias blancas, y yo usé esa batica tantos años y dije, ay, yo no crecí, yo no engordé nada porque por muchos años usé la misma, same dress. Y crecí, I never had a birthday, nunca me celebraron cumpleaños porque mis padres eran tan pobres que no había recursos. Yo no sabía lo que era juguete, yo no sabía lo que era bicicleta, yo no sabía absolutamente. Pero ¿sabes qué? Que sí sabía yo que tuve unos padres bellos. La mujer que soy yo hoy en día se lo debo a la crianza que tuve en Cuba. No teníamos recursos de nada. Yo me recuerdo, yo le digo a mis nietos, digo, ¿sabes qué? No teníamos televisor, no teníamos refrigerador. El baño era común para 5 familias afuera en el patio. Pero yo era tan feliz. Y la niñez que yo tuve en Cuba jamás y nunca la cambiaría por la niñez que tienen mis nietos. Tengo 10 nietos y yo les cuento cómo fue mi niñez y verdaderamente estoy muy orgullosa de ser cubana. Estoy muy orgullosa de ver crecido en Cuba con los recursos bien limitados, porque esos recursos limitados, esa escasez me enseñó a valorar lo que tengo hoy en día. Y a mis nietos se lo digo, entonces, gracias por haberme invitado, por conocer al joven. Me siento más emocionada porque yo sabía que venía otra persona, pero jamás y nunca me hubiese imaginado que iba a ser un joven cubano. Otro cubano y con una bella historia también. Yo me voy para mi casa ahora súper contenta para contarle a mis hijas, a mi esposo, que conocí a un joven cubano que también tiene una historia también y que más o menos nos relacionamos con su niñez en Cuba, aunque tenemos una diferencia de edad, pero...
mine was the same as yours. So no difference.
No difference.
I don't have anything to add to that. Es lo mismo, that's the same when I meet Americans, especially younger, and they complain to me about some trivial problems that don't even exist. I tell people that life in America is easy.
It is.
Compared to the life I had in Cuba,
That we had. Yes.
This is piece of cake. Piece of cake to live here. Everything is so easy. Everything works fine. I remember in the 90s, when I grew up in the 90s until 2002, we only have 12 hours of electricity in my town. Only 12 hours. No running water. I used to go with the buckets. Like when I would tell, let's say, girls that I've dated that are Americans, right? I've told them about my childhood, how you shower with a bucket.
Yeah,
like there's no shower and there's no hot and cold. So if you want hot water, you have to heat it in the stove. And then mix it with the cold water and then use that little bit because there was no more water. So as you grab a bucket and then you soap and then another bucket. And I'm telling you, for example, 3-4 hours in the street just because transportation, right? Being an hour and a half waiting for a bus, so many people, so crowded, and there is the only one bus that's going to take you over there. It's just a nightmare. And what I was telling you about no information, I had no case for my guitar. I could only play the guitar because it was the only instrument I had available. I couldn't even choose my instrument. I don't regret it. But things like that when you come over here, I have my card, I have my business, I do everything I want to, and everything is life is so, I open, everything is there. So why should I complain about life? I've had struggles. My life hasn't been easy, and I could go on and on about all the things that I lived in Cuba and all the struggles that I had in Miami as well. It's not like I'm living in paradise, but because, for example, my studio apartment right now, which is, I'm an independent musician and all this, trying to, run a business and all that stuff. To me, it's paradise. People might think like, maybe it's a small place. Like, if I take you to how I lived in Cuba, then you will feel like paradise, even though it's not the best, that you could get here in America. I know there's way better places, but I'm extremely happy with what I have right now. And of course, one has ambition. Once you're here, you want to go far,
Exactly.
But it's a journey, and it's all about being grateful for, and do not take nor your freedom or the things that you're experiencing right now, the people, your friends, your relationship, anything of that for granted. Because I remember when I was taken out of my country because I couldn't live in my country, right? And I had to start from zero again, making friends and all that. That's a difficult journey, So if you lose your freedom in your country, you might experience what we experience in Cuba. No, I think nobody deserves to live outside of our countries because even though we love our lives in here, for me it's the same. For me, my childhood was special. I will never change it for nothing in the world. And it's to me, I think.
¿Qué dice Palomino? I love your music, Alejandro.
Gracias.
Yeah.
And so de eso se trata. That's my message, at least to the American people, is that you do have a great place here and you have a good thing going on. And I love Texas, a lot. And it's, just, after all these struggles, life is a beautiful journey. And if you're doing things the right way, God, the universe, will take care of you.
Exactly.
I've been in situations where I pay my rent and I have like $4 in my pocket, but I got a tank of gas, and with that I've been able to book a gig and make some money, and boom, I'm eating, right? So things like that it just works out crazy, that you don't know how you're alive, but you're still alive, right?
But you're still alive.
And you still make it.
And then the other thing that I know, because I was talking to Maida, like we had dinner one time together when we were meeting, and a lot of times we don't know what we don't know. For example, when I was growing up, I was taking a shower with filling a bucket and taking a shower with warm and hot water, whatever. But we enjoyed it. And at the time, I didn't know I was living in poverty.
Exactly.
I didn't know what I didn't know. I was enjoying life and, doing hopscotch and playing outside. I mean, we played outside a lot and barefoot in the water and the rain. And we had so much fun. But then when we're comparing it now, then it's like, oh boy, I was in poverty, and we're able to see the difference. So I think that when you do realize where you were, then you have to be grateful, like you're saying, be grateful for what you have, enjoy the people, surround yourself by people that will, if your crown is falling, that you're not competing, but somebody's fixing your crown and supporting you and giving you that whatever you might need. You see, when you connect with people like them, they might know someone that knows someone that knows someone that will support you if they can. So connections is magic. So connect with people and learn about people and learn about cultures, and it doesn't matter where you're at, keep going. Right? I think that's the most important thing. So again, I'm going to invite everybody to connect with us on Facturando Tu Historia on Radio Metroplex, we're in Arlington, Texas, which is the capital of sports, events, and entertainment. And we're here every Friday at 5 p.m. Central. So you need to connect with us because this is where we tell stories to inspire, motivate, and give people courage so that they can step into anything they want and they can believe in themselves and connect with people, because connections is power. And what I'm going to do is have him play another song.
Oh.
So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
Okay, so
Play 2. Baby Barrancas.
so this is my latest single. Se llama Carta al Mundo.
Oh.
Okay. Querida humanidad, no somos diferentes, vivimos el presente, ignorando la verdad, sabemos ya que todos ellos mienten, que el cambio ya es urgente, tenemos responsabilidad. La vida se nos va en metas materiales, vicios, banalidades que nos hacen sufrir más. Yo me libré de todos mis prejuicios, de egocéntricos caprichos. Quiero que sepas que te amo y que te quiero cantar. Cantar por la belleza que aún nos queda. Cantar para algún día ver nuestra libertad. Nos sobran las razones para vernos a los ojos y amarnos como hermanos sin sabotear al otro. Solo nos tenemos a nosotros. El mundo enfermo, la maldad, se apodera ya de todo. Hermanos, quiero confesarles que hago esto solo para hablarles, porque me mantiene vivo, para no perderme, para no quedarme en el olvido, para aportarle algo de luz al vacío. Mi alma entristecida, confundida, nos mentimos tanto que ya nos creemos nuestras propias mentiras. ¿Hacia dónde vamos? Me pregunto. Los valores se han perdido, nos traicionan por maldad. ¿Cuánto hemos destruido? Quiero que sepas que te amo, que te quiero cantar y regalarte versos por un rato, que ojalá algún día nos veamos en un gran escenario, gritándoles bien alto, que ya estamos cansados.
Wow. Wow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Alejandro.
Redes sociales.
Vamos a saludar a todos de Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and of course Google Play, todos los que están en Radio Metroplex. Les queremos dar un saludo, un abrazo. Estamos aquí todos los viernes a las 5 p.m. Contando historias, porque yo pienso que contando nuestras historias te inspiramos, te motivamos para que sigas adelante y no te des por vencido. Así que síguenos todos los viernes. Vamos a seguir con otra canción.
¿Ok?
Antes de que nos despidamos y luego nos despedimos.
Ok, listo. Esta se llama Aguacero. Esta sí es pachanga. No es pachanga, pero tú sabes que es lo curioso de la música cubana, es música bailable. So, es una canción de desamor, pero tiene un ritmo pegajoso para bailar. Entonces,
está bien, porque siempre terminamos con un movimiento aquí.
Aguacero, llévatela ya. No hay consuelo, la vida se me va. Aguacero, llévatela ya. No hay consuelo, la vida se me va. No logro deshacerme de ese recuerdo de aquel amor intenso pero fugaz. Quiero pasar la página de este cuento, fue demasiado triste su final. Yo quiero la alegría brotando de mi cuerpo, quiero bailar la rabia hasta olvidar, transmutar en versos el arrepentimiento, sentir la magia de volverme a enamorar. Aguacero, llévatela ya. No hay consuelo, la vida se me va. Aguacero, llévatela ya. se me va. No logro desatarme del sentimiento y no entiendo muchas cosas, la verdad. Quisiera la respuesta de tal misterio para vivir en paz con mi pesar. Me acompañé en la noche con su silencio, la damisela que me vio llorar. Aquella fiel a todo momento, ella se llama Soledad. Aguacero, llévatela ya, de la ya, de la ya. No hay consuelo, la vida se me va, se me va, se me va. Aguacero, llévatela ya, de la ya, de la ya, de la ya. No hay consuelo, la vida se me va, la vida se me va. La vida se me va.
¡Woo!
Bravo.
Bravo. Wow. Ok, ¿dónde se pueden conectar contigo? Y
Ok, so mi nombre es Alejandro Terra, Terra. Entonces, eso significa tierra, como terra.
Ajá.
Es en portugués, es una palabra en portugués. Ahí estoy en todas las plataformas digitales, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. Estas 3 canciones ya están grabadas, solo pueden, pueden escucharla cuando quieran. Es Carta al Mundo, Me he vuelto loco y Aguacero. Las 3 están en Spotify. Está mi disco desde el exilio. Tengo ya varios sencillos, creo que son 6 sencillos y un disco ya en release. Y estoy trabajando en mi segundo álbum que se llama Íntimo, que ya tengo todas las canciones preparadas, así que nada, estoy trabajando en eso.
wow,
Muchas gracias.
so síganlo. Y
Thank you.
vayan
Thank you.
mañana porque él va a estar ahí cantando, así que tienen que conectarse con nosotros, amigos. Ahora tengo que decir que tenemos a F Troop Dancers que van a estar mañana en el evento, porque les dije que les iba a decir quién más iba a estar allí. And también una oportunidad, a little bit more, just a second. Los otros son corazones peruanos del DFW que van a estar allí. Academia Sí es mi Perú y otra vez, como les dije, Estefanía va a estar allí, María José va a estar ahí cantando, Alejandro va a estar allí y las modelos, Mayra va a ser una de ellas. So, dinos dónde se pueden conectar contigo.
Mayra Reynolds, todas las plataformas también. Estoy por Instagram y también por Facebook.
Okay. So, amigos, tienen que conectarse con ellos y sigan aquí con nosotros todos los viernes a las 5 p.m. en Radio Metroplex. Aquí el show se llama Facturando Tu Historia. Es donde contamos historias para inspirarte, motivarte, para que sigas adelante y tú sí puedes.
Sí se puede.
Gracias.
Aguacero, llévatela ya. No hay consuelo, la vida se me va, se me va, se me va. Aguacero, llévatela ya, de la ya, de la ya. No hay consuelo, la vida se me va, la vida se me va.
Dr. B en Facturando Tu Historia. Nos vemos el viernes a las 5 p.m. Thank you.
La base de datos de virus ha sido actualizada.
Bienvenidas. Comenzamos.
Radio Metroplex.
Presentando
Radio Metroplex.
la mejor programación. En vivo desde Arlington, Texas, la capital del deporte, los espectáculos y el entretenimiento.
Radio Metroplex.
La mejor plataforma en su tipo.